I am Valery Brown-Alce. I'm the Deputy Director for the Bahamas Ministry of Tourism, Investment, and Aviation. So that's who I represent.
Okay.
My responsibility are the global markets.
Thank you very much for joining us on Breaking Travel News. Let's start off. The conference itself is looking at the state of the industry. So give us a quick overview of the first half of 2025. How's it been for the Bahamas?
Well, the Bahamas has done well, like I mentioned on the screen, June through, I would say through July. We've welcomed some 7.3 million. 1.1 of that is stopovers, and the other 6.2 is the cruise or the sea travels that's coming in.
So a huge difference, isn't there, between the stopovers and those cruising and
Absolutely.
sailing into the
Yes.
Bahamas? Yeah.
Well, we find ourselves in a unique situation. Geography is part of it because of our location to the United States, the ability for cruisers to come in with short cruises, as well as the cruise lines have more than 9 private islands within the Bahamas.
Right.
So the main islands, Nassau and Grand Bahama, they have cruise ports as well, but that's a lot of traffic coming in by cruises.
So a lot of 9 private islands. So do the people, once the cruise moors up at a private island, do they get into the local community?
Well, depending on which island, because they all are set up differently. For instance, and I think one of the great success stories is Celebration Key by Carnival. Now, where the ships comes in, even though it's a private area, they have at the port area all Bahamian-owned businesses. They can also sign up for tours and attraction within the city of Freeport and throughout Grand Bahama. And then they also have the opportunity, if they want to venture out on their own, they can do that as well.
So there is dollars spent with the local community, local businesses.
There are dollars being spent within the local community, and that's a concern across the board. Yeah.
So what about changes in sort of source markets? Are you seeing a change like quite a few of the other Caribbean nations?
Well, in terms of the source markets for us, obviously 80% of our business comes from the United States. And so the Northeast, I think there's competitive landscape. I think that the share of voice, the share of bookings and business obviously has changed when you have, such a considerable amount of product coming out of there. So yeah, there's some changes in the Northeast. Florida, because of, again, proximity, to the Bahamas, we continue to hold our own in that area. We're 50 miles off the coast of Miami, being Bimini, and the other areas.
Swim across.
Absolutely.
Now,
so,
another thing in the conference is a sustainable future. So what initiatives have you got for going forward?
In terms of sustainability, I would have ended my discussion inside about the stewardship councils that we have throughout the islands. And their particular focus is sustainability pillars. That's bringing community or environment together, looking at the local businesses. How do we all fit and if you will, complement each other moving forward, whether it's private or public sector, all of that working together. So we've done that successfully thus far. Some of the other environmental things that we're doing, I think, has to do with growing the mangroves. Again, we have mission for mangroves. We have the coral reef and rescue reef programs that are going on, because I think you're aware of some of how the coral is being affected by climate change and all of that. So we're moving in that direction. We also, though, in terms of climate change, we're very involved with that discussion process from, I would say, the Prime Minister's office standpoint of view. Some of the things that we're doing at the UN and trying to look at UN 2030 and meeting those sustainability goals. Yeah.
Well, I'm wondering, you're here at the Caribbean conference. You're sort of really geographically outside of the Caribbean, aren't you? So how do you work together? What are the benefits?
Well, the benefits, again, for us is an inclusive Caribbean. Even though we're not in the region, we know Atlantic Ocean and the Gulf, if you will. But curious though, Bermuda is also a part of the Caribbean Tourism Organization. Bermuda and the Bahamas are in the Atlantic Ocean. We're here because there has to be great collaboration with our region, inclusive of the Bahamas and Bermuda. There has to be collaboration in terms of not just the marketing, but some of the things that we need to get done and address the issues around airlift, and do we have sufficient airlift for the region to, cruises. While we may have substantive cruise, there are other destinations, obviously, where itineraries are changing. They're coming online and getting more of that tourist factor. And then the sustainability areas and talking as one voice matters in terms of getting heard, if you will, in this industry. So it makes complete sense.
So a key word there,
Yeah,
you summed it up, collaboration, so important.
There you go. Keyword.
Yeah. Thank you very much for joining us. I'll break
You're
it down
very
to you.
welcome.